Welcome back to everyone's favorite speed art series, the one where I draw all of my Persona Project eras as different nostalgic medias from my childhood. Make sure to check out the previous video where we drew all of the eras as Neopets. Today, we're going to be drawing all the eras as Littlest Pet Shops, some of my favorite action figure toys from my childhood. And they also had a few DS games too that I was really obsessed with. So let's get right into this. Right off the bat, I have to say, I am quite a stranger to doing lineless artwork like this. It was completely foreign territory to me, so it was kind of difficult. This entire thing was a very healthy challenge for me as an artist to try and match that really adorable chibi style, but also maintain the lineless kind of look. So apologies for how horrifying this is gonna look at times. Sometimes just during this speed art process, this becomes a horror show, and I very much apologize for that. But the end product is super cute, so just trust the process and be patient as we start out with Wild Child, of course. The frog Littlest Pet Shops were always some of my absolute favorites. They were just so freaking adorable, and they came in so many fun colors. I actually had this one that changed colors depending on how hot or cold it was, so the longer you held it, the little spots would appear, and it was just like magic to me as a kid. But for Wild Child, I wanted to keep her palette more light. I know with the Webkinz that we did previously, I did the more dark palette with the lighter color on the bottom, but I decided this time, nah, we're gonna go the darker color on the bottom, because this time is the only time I think I'm not gonna include her big poofy hair in this design, because that would be a little awkward for a frog, I think. At least for an action figure. And of course, I added all of her little spots, all of her freckles, and I wanted to add the least little curl. That was just like a signature thing for a lot of my eras, so I included that in Wild Child's. And I tried to keep some of the shading very minimal with this. You can see like my poor struggle as I tried to figure out how to make this lineless thing work, but I think I managed as best as I could. And then to really emphasize that like action figure look, I wanted to do a low opacity kind of glare on the eyes, because the eyes have this little gloss on them in the action figures that make them just slightly shinier than the rest of the Littlest Pet Shop. And last second, I like completely forgot to add like little eyelashes. I thought that'd be really cute since Wild Child is definitely more feminine. For each of these era Littlest Pet Shops, I think I'm gonna do like a number, like a fake number of what number they would be, and then give them a little adjective. So like it would have to end in EST, like how it's like Littlest Pet Shop. So for Wild Child, we have number 4, because that was her favorite number, and the hoppiest frog. I thought that was so stinking cute, and I hope you guys will appreciate all of the fun little favorite numbers or significant numbers for each era, as well as like the adorable little adjectives to describe each of them. And overall, I think that this turned out so adorable. Look at little Wild Child! I had such a hard time in the beginning, but as I went through each era, it just kept getting better and better and better. Now, Blackbirds gave me a run for my money. It was actually pretty difficult to find a bird Littlest Pet Shop that I could reference, because all of them look kind of awkward and have these giant foreheads, and I was like, okay, well, I'll do my best. And I kind of struggled too with deciding whether or not I was gonna keep her braids or not, because those are like kind of her signature thing. So I started off without the braids, and I was like, all right, we're going braidless, let's do this. And I wanted her to look a little more annoyed, because the other Littlest Pet Shops just look so happy, and like I feel like she would not enjoy this. I feel like she would be like kind of embarrassed, being like, oh my god, why do I have to be the bird? I want to be something cooler, like the cheetah. Like, she wouldn't want to be turned into a bird, so she's kind of mad about it. Nevertheless, I did like how the birds had this little like, I guess, eyeshadow thing, so I got to sneak in more of her like orange accents into it, so that was kind of fun. And for like the tiny little details, there's usually like little shapes in the eyes, like little hearts or diamonds or sparkles or whatever. And so I put like these nice little elegant diamonds in hers, because I think that she's such a fashionista that would be like, you know, her thing. And there wasn't a whole lot of detailing I wanted to do. I almost made her completely blue, and then I realized she would be mistaken for a bluebird, which was not the vibe. She would get quite upset about that. Bluebird's her best friend. She's Blackbird. So I went completely Blackbird and tried to add tiny little color features here and there. I wanted to make her belly like a lighter color, kind of like to resemble Robin in a way, because Robin era and Blackbird era have some parallels that are kind of interesting. I chose number 13 for Blackbird specifically because at age 13, I really thought that was like the best time of my life for some reason, but also it's a very unlucky number, and I thought that would be kind of an awesome little nod to how 12 is so important to a few eras from now, but 13 is important too. And then yeah, towards the end, I did cave and I ended up putting on those beloved braids after all. After like the world's most awkward struggle, it is definitely like a horrifying experience, like moving all the pieces around. It was kind of scary looking. So let's just skip to the cute part. Oh look, she's all done. Yay, no more horrifying speed art. I love the fact that you can tell that this is like an action figure because of the way that the feet are, so she could hook onto different like perches and stuff. It's just so cute. And of course, she is the sassiest bird, obviously. Look at that face. I think that this turned out beautifully. Give it up for Parker, my boy Parker, Parker! And we're sticking with that lion or tiger theme for Parker, because it's always like either the lion or the tiger for him. I don't know what it is. Every time I turn him into a nostalgic media, he ends up being a big cat, and I'm here for it, honestly. And I got to keep lots of those big fluffy curls. I got to keep all the little freckles, the little doinker, the little swirly. And for him, I really wanted to emphasize the fact that he is just such a passionate soul, because Parker really is some of the best of my life. Parker truly is some of the biggest hearted, kindest, most amazing moments in my life. And so I wanted his eyes to have the little hearts. Out of everyone, Parker deserves it. You just gotta trust me on that one. And I could have gone with more shading and more details with it, but honestly, you could just tell it was him. 100% tell that this was Parker without all those like really random details like the scarf and stuff, or a book. So I was like, alright, you know what? We'll just go with the glasses. I wanted to make the glasses match the art style a little bit more, so I added in the actual like low opacity glass towards the end there. And I did sneak the red in at least on the nose because it looked really awkward without at least a little bit of red for Parker, considering that's like his color motif. And I did tone the color down to be a little more orange, just so it's just a little bit more cartoony, a little bit more fun. Because that's how Littlest Pet Shops were. They were always very bright and colorful. I mean, one of like the most prestigious Littlest Pet Shops we ever got was this purple elephant, and we had to turn in like 300 box tops for it. It was like the most rare and exclusive thing we ever got. So yeah, we're just gonna have a completely orange lion. And that's, you know, we're not gonna bat an eye at that. And here is Parker with all of his swirls, all of his polka dots and hearts. Completely precious. I picked number 88 because 8 was my lucky number during that era, and instead of just being number 8, I thought 88 was gonna be like way cooler for some reason. I don't know. Like, why have one lucky number when you can have 2 lucky numbers? You know what I mean? And of course, I decided to make him the smartest lion because to me, Parker really was the smartest out of all of us. Parker really was the brains behind our operation, alright? I think that this title fits Parker extremely well, and it turned out perfect! Next up is Hawley era, which is always literally so much damn fun. I swear to God, Hawley always turns out so peak. I think it's just her initial design being peak and then translating to every other style perfectly. And Littlest Pet Shops are absolutely no exception. I actually based Hawley's off of a specific Littlest Pet Shop that we had as a kid. All I could think about was that for her for some reason. Instead of one of those big fluffier ones, I was like, no, we're gonna go with like this very elegant cat with like this like different kind of like iris. It was like this very like rounded like ribbon iris, and that was like really different. And then I lied. I decided to give Hawley hearts too, because she really is a very passionate one too. She's the one that made 12. She's the one that made Origins. Like, I could not give her hearts too. Okay, I just I caved. I think the only thing I really struggled with the design was like all of the little tiny details, like all the stripes and patterning and everything was getting a little complex. I tried to keep it minimal considering Littlest Pet Shops is very minimal usually with their detailing. But I don't know what it is about the little Hawley plant that I had drawn here, but it just looks so divine. Like it's so minimal, but like the little tiny bit of shading and lighting I did is just so perfect. It just looks so real. I don't know, it just looks so like action figure-y and it's beautiful. It looks plastic. I did a good job with that one. And then I just decided, frick it, I'm gonna give her a red nose too, to connect her to Parker over their love of 12. I thought that'd be really cute. And then, yes, I chose this pose mostly because it shows the beans, and we need more beans in our lives. Look at those cute little toe beans, oh my goodness. So, as a nod to 12, but not also to make it exactly 12, I chose 120 as the number for Hawley, because that's what she did. That was like her favorite thing in the whole wide world was working on 12 and Origins. That was like her entire life. So number 12 is really significant. So I thought 120 would be really cool. And also she turned 20 during that era. So that all ties together in a big, beautiful bow. And she's the jolliest kitty, of course, because she is Hawley and jolly and so cheerful and fun. And then with some minimal shading, some minimal lighting, it turned out so precious! It looks just like the action figure from my childhood too. I literally could not be happier with Hawley's. It turned out so perfect! Or dare I say perfect, as in purring like a cat. Ha-ho! Alright, Hawley era, are you ready to get Littlest Pet Shop-ified? I really was gonna struggle with saying that. I don't know why I said that. But anyways, yes, Littlest Pet Shop-ified Hawley era is gonna be super difficult, I think, because what the literal frick? There's like barely any dinosaur Littlest Pet Shops, if at all, because I looked and I couldn't find any, and I was like, what the frickadoodle dandy am I supposed to do now? So yeah, I chose like a lizard, and I'm just gonna like add a couple of things to it to make it more dinosaur-like, because like, what the heck is wrong with every freaking media I've chosen so far? Basically not having a dinosaur, or if they do, it's like butt ugly. Like, what the hell, man? Dinosaur lovers, we are being robbed, man. Robbed! But anyways, us being robbed aside, I had to add the iconic Hawley hat. But I wanted to resemble all of like the cute Littlest Pet Shop hats, because there's like these cute little sun hats I was mostly referencing that are on some of my own Littlest Pet Shops that you can like take on and off, but they're like really like awkwardly sized and only fit a couple of specific Littlest Pet Shops. So I kind of wanted it to be like that, where it's like slightly too big for her, but it's still there and it's still cute. With the little lemon, of course. And I don't know what it is. She just looks so freaking cute. Like, she has those big eyes and like the round head with like the smaller body. I don't know. It was just a really cute Littlest Pet Shops. I've like never seen a lizard one before, so this was so fun. And I went very crazy with all of her little scales being like freckles, because I thought that would make her look a little more dinosaur-like, considering this wasn't a dinosaur base and I wanted to come across more dinosaur-like. I gave her a little fang, yes, of course, and then I wanted to give her stars in her eyes, because I felt like that era of mine was very starry-eyed and everything was very new and free and just lots of self-discovery going on there. And then we added some additional spikes. We added like claws on there, and I changed the belly color at the last second too, just because I thought that would make a little bit more sense. I've been doing that with most of the Hawley era designs. And so the final design is here. She is orange and citrusy and fun. The silliest dino, because honestly Hawley era is a far more silly than I'm giving her credit for. The number is 224, and that is actually a really important number to Hawley era, because that was the pet store number that I worked at. That was like the number of our store. I couldn't have asked for anything more silly for our dinosaur girl. Last but not least, we have Robin era, and yes, Robin's gonna be Robin. Who would have guessed? Except I don't think that there ever was a Robin Littlest Pet Shop. Like, why does this keep happening? Like, genuinely. So I kind of referenced this like parakeet maybe, or parrot-like one, just so it was a little more different than Blackbird's. This one has like a little bit more fluff to it, like a lot more like little details. So I was like, oh, this will be perfect, because the top almost looks like the little fluffy little like mohawk, which would have been perfect for like the hairstyle that Robin has. And I'm not even gonna lie lie to you, I was gonna struggle so bad with that eye at this angle, so I just closed the other eye, okay? Sometimes artists we just need a freaking break, alright? Sometimes it's just too difficult to do both the eyes. Sometimes we just gotta close one and say, yeah, they're just winking. Yeah, sure. Yeah. So just everyone, Robin's winking, and it's because they're just winking, okay? It's just gonna be part of it, alright? Thank you. Anyways, I'm not drawing that second eye, that would be so painful. I kind of struggled, because I really wanted their eye to resemble, like, kind of the art style I use, where it's got, like, the very, like, prominent top eyelid, and you can watch me struggle with that for a little bit. I do get it eventually, so let's freaking go. And then to connect Robin to Wild Child, I think I wanted to keep the circles all, like, circles, no special shapes or anything, because I just thought that'd be cool to connect them. And all of their adorable freckles too. I went kind of crazy with the freckles and everything, and I don't know why, like genuinely why, but I like struggled with the colors really bad for a moment there, so like I apologize. It looks really weird for a moment. It'll get better. It'll get better once I figure it out and go, oh wait, I'm stupid. So after I realized I was stupid, we got everything set and all the colors were fixed. And then like, I kind of shocked myself with this, but I find myself relating more to Hawley era too in my current era. Like, as time has gone on, to my complete and utter dismay, honestly, I find myself relating more to Hawley, and it's a little rocky. To signify that, I was like, you know what, we'll do the cheeks too. We'll give Robin some, like, lighter colored cheeks, just because it also kind of resembled the reference I was working with, like, a parakeet, and I was like, oh gosh, it's just so cute. So we went all birdie on there. We just put all the bird features we possibly could on there. Added some minimal shading and lighting. Boom. We have the coolest Robin. Heck yeah, we are. I picked 180 because number 1 has been like really important in this era for me, but I didn't want to make Robin like the number 1 because that would be like a little egotistical, I think. And also the number 8 is still really important to me too to this day. It connects Robin to Parker era. And by the time I have this whole picture sitting here, there is something that connects Robin to each of the eras. And I think that's really cute. And like, definitely way too deep for a Littlest Pet Shop. Like, I know I'm like overthinking this like to the maximum, but like, look. Look, is that not what you're here for? Look, we love overanalyzing designs, okay? That's like my whole channel. And this is how each of the eras turned out. I think, considering I don't do lineless art at all, this turned out really good. It was definitely a really fun exercise for me to practice with. I know some fan artists are really good at doing lineless art and stuff, and I was really inspired by you guys and all of your really cool art you've done for all of my characters across the channel that I was like, you know what? It's time. I'm gonna tackle the big scary lineless art project, and it turned out so great, and I'm just so happy with it. I learned a lot about the technique as well, of things that I like and don't like, and I definitely can't wait to practice in the next one, because oh yes, the next episode of this speed art series, we are going to be doing Animal Jam, and I mean like the promotional art of Animal Jam. Like, I want to do lineless art again in the next one because I learned so much from this one, and I'm really eager to try again and also match that lovely Animal Jam art style, because Animal Jam has such a big place in my heart, and Animal Jam has lots of really fun accessories, so that'll be even more fun because we'll be able to use a lot of like the items from the game to really make the eras the eras. Thank you guys as always for your patience and support with all of the projects I do on my channel, and thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you guys in the very next video, whether it be a short YouTube video or a stream, and I look forward to our next nostalgic era speed art. Bye bye!